video on our YouTube channel. We're going to preview match day 5 of the Champions League season. And of course, that means there's not much chances left for any team to try and qualify for the last 16 or third spot. Seville. Actually, Seville can't make the Europa League now. They are going up, which is so sad because their chances have literally gone out of the center of earth. So anyway, let's start off with, okay, it may be a bit biased because I'm a United fan, but let's talk about Paris Saint-Germain because PSG, wow. I never thought I'd say this. And in our predictions video of who would win the Champions League at the beginning of the season, I said PSG could win the Champions League. Oh, how wrong I could be because Joe, PSG, it could be them or Leipzig missing out in the knockout stages, which means Europa League football come the new year. What is going on?
Well, they've been put with the Jamie Davies curse, let's be honest. I think if you ever don't want a team to win the Champions League, Jamie, back there. No, I don't know what's going on with PSG. It just seems to, from last season with the Champions League final, they just seem to have fallen apart since then. I don't know if it's a crisis of confidence, fatigue, lack of faith in the manager. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with PSG. They just don't seem to have hit the heights of the previous season. Obviously, there's lots going on last season. Champions League shortened down to one leg and all that lot, but still, you can't say they didn't deserve to be in the Champions League final last season. I don't know what's happened, to be honest. They just don't seem to be, as we've discussed off air, they don't seem to be taking the chances, PSG, in any of their matches in the league or the Champions League. So I don't know if I think Tuchel's a dead man walking, as they say.
It said this game they've got away at Old Trafford against Man United is, well, it's a huge game, biggest game of their Champions League campaign so far, but they've got to really prove themselves because Ligue 1, they didn't get a result against Bordeaux. They were 2-0 up against Monaco and they lost 3-2, which was inspired by Cesc Fabregas and co. So there's a big, big pressure on this team that were once Champions League finalists and not long ago.
Yeah, it's mainly Tuchel, and the big problem with Tuchel is he's a very demanding and aggressive man. So when things are going well, he flies on the highs, but when things are going really badly, he just slates his players until it gets worse and worse. They've probably got to prove a point tomorrow against Man United, and if they say, for instance, lose one and draw one against United, that will still be seen as some sort of failure in Paris. I mean, the French media absolutely slated Tuchel the other day for getting a win against Leipzig, and well, they won. They were poor, but they won, and that's the main thing that counts. And I mentioned to you too before the words that you mentioned in the press conference saying, I'm fed up with your questions. If you've got the balls to say how bad they were, go in the dressing room yourself. So Tuchel's he's becoming a dead man walking, yeah. And it's important for Mbappe now to show that he can do it on this stage. He hasn't scored in 2020 in the Champions League. He missed so many chances against Bordeaux. He missed so many chances against Monaco. If he wants that Real Madrid move, or if he wants to prove himself to be in the top tier of players, he's got to do it against United. And then obviously Besiktas should be a given. But what could be really interesting is, I mean, I don't know if it's possible now. So if Paris win tomorrow, Paris win tomorrow, United lose against Leipzig, and Leipzig beat Besiktas. Oh, wait, no. I'm trying to think if there's a possibility of all of them finishing on 9 points, and I don't think there is. But
no.
Because it's not goal difference now, it's head-to-head. So Paris are ahead of Leipzig on the head-to-head now. So Leipzig have got to win the last 2 games or get 4 points and hope Paris drop 6. But yeah, Paris have got to prove a point. And if they finish second, harder draw. So
I was going to say the goal difference looks good for United at the moment because of the 5-0 win against Leipzig and then the 4-1 win last week. So I think for United, the goal difference, it looks okay, but they only need a point now, I believe, to go up to the next round.
So if United lose against Paris, and then if they lose 4-0 against Leipzig, they go through because it'll count as a 5-4 win for United against Leipzig, even if they're on the same amount of points. Yeah. So it works on head-to-head, which is a bit weird, and I'm not too sure I like. But I mean, United, it's there for them to qualify now, isn't it? It's just 1 point. It's good.
Which just shows, though,
there's also... Sorry, there's one key thing that's missing. I mean, Neymar's had his injury problems. They've all had a bit of their injury problems. But now the main one is Marquinhos. And I think he's an essential part to Paris now in defence. So he's
Which you wouldn't have thought of.
he's definitely the leader of the team. There's no denying that. But I've said to many people that I think Paris have the big problem that Marquinhos is their best midfielder and defender at the same time. But he's definitely one of the most important player, in my opinion, now. If Neymar's not playing, you've got someone like Mbappe. Even if he isn't efficient, he still can produce something. Marquinhos, not a lot of people in that Paris team can do what he does. So,
an interesting group indeed. So, of course, PSG away to Man United, and of course, Istanbul at home to Leipzig. Who knows? Istanbul might shock us again and get a home win against one of the big teams. We'll find out come Wednesday night. But quickly, Joe, do you think PSG will still get Champions League for next year?
I think they'll sneak it just.
What are you going for, Seb?
I'm presuming you mean the knockout stages.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the knockout, yeah. Instead of Europa League.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still think PSG because if they've got that advantage over Leipzig, they get 3 points, and then they've got the head-to-head advantage over Leipzig. So it'll be Leipzig third, unfortunately.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Liverpool versus Ajax. Now, this was an interesting game at the Amsterdam Arena a few weeks ago. Joe, it took an own goal from Tagliafico, and they got the win. And at the end of the day, a win's a win. But the Atalanta defeat last week, Joe, that was wow, for some, it was a bit of a surprise. How did you feel after that? Do you think this has really hurt their chances, or do you think Liverpool will still go all the way?
I was surprised. I did say in the preview last week that Atalanta could cause us trouble on the counter-attack, and obviously they did. They got 2 goals on the counter-attack. But Liverpool were just lacklustre from the start to finish. I don't know whether it's just the fact that we made so many changes or whether it's because Atalanta changed their game plan. I don't know. But I want to give full credit to Atalanta because they came to outfield. They weren't scared. They weren't overawed by the occasion. They had their game plan and it worked to perfection, and they come away with the 3 points, and they've dragged themselves back into qualification contention. I think Liverpool only need a point, I believe, against Ajax on Tuesday. So I think Liverpool will definitely qualify from the group. It's pretty much done and dusted. We never do things the easy way, though. If we got the 3 points last week, we could have rested players again this week, and then next week, a couple of weeks' time against Midtjylland. But no, they don't do things the easy way, and they lost, and it pulls Atalanta back into the equation. But I don't know. With Liverpool, I think we'll get the win. It'll be another narrow, hard-fought victory against Ajax on Tuesday night. But I think the performance last week, certain players did not cover themselves in glory, and I think Divock Origi's days at Liverpool Football Club are numbered. I have to point that out there. Yes, he's a legend for what he did in the semi-final and final in 2019, scoring the goals, but his performance last week was awful. He just didn't seem... There was no movement from him, let's put it that way. He just seemed to stand still and walk about the pitch, and I think his time's up.
I guess as well, though, Joe, they're at home as well. Liverpool's it's not an easy place to go and get points for a team like Ajax, but even if they did slip, I guess really Liverpool should still make it because Midtjylland is their last game, and I think if I'm correct, Midtjylland actually haven't got any points yet, so should be okay for Liverpool at the end. Seb, what do you think?
One thing's for sure, Ajax are going to go for it. I mean, Ajax are on the same amount of points as Atalanta. Atalanta most likely will win against Midtjylland, and Ajax just ahead on the head-to-head with Atalanta. And they'll want to keep it that way until the last game against Atalanta. So Ajax are really going to go for this. I know Liverpool need 1 point, and they might be able to take their chances by going for it in the Midtjylland game, which they most likely will win. But I don't think Klopp likes to think like that. I think he wants to get it done as soon as possible. And Ajax is so good. I mean, that game against Liverpool was a bit of an odd one. I mean, I mentioned to you on our WhatsApp group how many times they've scored in their last games in the league. So it's 5 in the last league game, 5 in the league game before, 3 in the league game before, 5 in the league game before, 13 in the league game before, 5 in the league game before, and then 0. But I mean, it's still impressive. They've got 20 more goals than any other team in the league. They will just go at it. And it's a similar style to Atalanta, but not exactly the same. It should be difficult for Liverpool, and they will make it difficult for Liverpool if they are on form. And they've got no players missing except for Kudus, but I mean, a young player who hasn't played that much yet.
Huntelaar hat-trick on its way. FC Porto, Manchester City in Group C, which Well, Man City, they've pretty much done very well, haven't they, so far? They've won all 4 games. They're going through either way because Olympiacos are miles behind in third place. So should be a simple occasion, really, shouldn't it, Joe? You know, Man City have a lot to prove, don't they, under Pep? He's got a new contract now, so they clearly want him to still try and get that Champions League trophy that they've never had.
Yeah, I think Manchester City can take the foot off the gas a little bit now because obviously qualification is secured for them after their win away at Olympiacos. I think Porto will make things difficult for them. They're normally quite good at home, but I don't know. I do think City will win. I do because Pep won't want the players to ease off. Let's be honest. But at the same time, I don't know. I want to see Porto get a result to consolidate their place in the next round because they're a good club and they deserve to be in the knockout stages of the Champions League.
Absolutely. And of course, Man City being one of the teams that will certainly try and go for the Champions League. But I mean, we'll quickly mention Chelsea as well. I mean, they're through, aren't they? They're through.
Can we just mention as well, Marseille still not scoring scoring 0 goals in this whole group stage, and they've had a grand total, I think, of 1 shot on target. Andre Villas-Boas is just showing you how it's done. I mean, his reputation wasn't bad enough after Tottenham or maybe Zenit. I mean, now it's getting quite bad.
He made the best move though. His sacrifice to Roberto Di Matteo did wonders for his club. I
just had to mention that, and it's the only stadium where it's written in the chairs with the empty fans right towards the goal, and I thought that's just very ironic, isn't it?
Brilliant. And of course, talking of Chelsea, they are top of Group E, joint with Seville. Seville, great team at the moment. I've really enjoyed watching them, especially when they won the Europa League. But as I said before at the start of this video, they are going to actually go to the knockout stages. So Europa League will be going to someone else this season. Quite incredible. Will it be Arsenal? Who cares? Anyway, who cares on Let's Talk Sport about Arsenal? But, yeah, I mean, Joe, Chelsea under Lampard, great campaign for them so far.
Yeah, they've done well. There's obviously question marks over whether Lampard could cut it, in Europe, with such as a manager, because he's only fairly new to their managerial game. Let's be honest, this is his second season in charge of Chelsea, but obviously they've taken to it like a duck to water. They've done really, really well, and they've never really. I wouldn't say they struggled, to be honest. I didn't watch their game last week, but I wouldn't say they've struggled. I think they've taken it quite well. And on the point of Sevilla, I've been impressed by them, and I was impressed a couple of years ago when I watched them play at Anfield. I thought they're good side across Europe. They won the Europa League last season. I had to laugh at their tweet where it's like a couple of memes or something where people's like someone smiling said you qualified for the knockout stages, and then the other one was them frowning going, realising you can't win your 7th Europa League.
Oh,
and it just made me laugh.
I loved it, yeah. Sevilla have made hard work of their qualification. I mean, they're through with these on 10 points, but they scraped past Krasnodar both times. They got just about past Rennes, and Rennes have been unfortunate, and credit to them. They've put up a fair fight in their whole campaign there, but they've just not had the quality. Chelsea have made it easy for themselves this time, rather than last year, where they just about qualified in that group with Lille, Valencia, and Ajax. And they also got to the quarterfinals against Bayern Munich, where they got knocked out on 7-1, which is apparently now isn't that shameful. So, yeah, Frank Lampard's doing well in Europe, and now their defense is looking solid. I reckon they should be looking to get a result against Sevilla.
And before we finish, I just really wanted to mention an old Premier League manager of Antonio Conte. Now, wow, Seb, he's under some real pressure, isn't he? At the moment, Inter Milan are bottom with 2 points, with 2 games to go. And they're 2 points behind Shakhtar Donetsk, and then 5 points behind Real Madrid in second. And Borussia Mönchengladbach, Seb and his favourite football team in the world, as bros, are top with 8 points, which, Mönchengladbach could end their Champions League campaign on Tuesday night. So if they get the win, Mönchengladbach, that's it. Inter Milan are out of the Champions League. And could that be the end of Antonio Conte?
No, because Antonio Conte was brought in to win the league, and that is still his main goal. It's to break this Juventus streak. But I think Antonio Conte's only got himself to blame. We were talking with Connor last week, and he said Vidal is one yellow card away from suspension. Is that a problem? I was like, they'd probably be better off without him. And I think that proved as well in the Real Madrid match. Even when they went down to 10 men, I still think they were probably just a bit better than when they had Vidal on the pitch. He's made so many errors in the Champions League, and I mean, Conte's only got himself to blame to keep putting faith in Vidal. And then I say all that, and then this weekend he plays a blinder in the league against South Swallow. But anyway, I mean, Conte won't be gone for this, and I think it just would be another embarrassing feat. I mean, he's not good in the Champions League. This is not new. He never took Juventus to the knockout stages. I don't think he took Chelsea, if I'm right in remembering. This is not new territory for Conte. He doesn't like Champions League.
He doesn't.
But I think, and also they've got many more players missing. But I think Mönchengladbach are impressive. They can substitute players if they're missing, and it works. So I mean, it's very positive from them. I'm looking forward to seeing them in the knockout stage, where I fully expect them to do.
Yeah, who knows? And they might just top the group, and that would be some achievement for
Considering the way the Shakhtar have broken down, Real Madrid are now looking even more poor without Benzema, Ramos, and now Hazard looks injured again.
Again?
Dear. Yeah, they got injured again against Alaves at the weekend. So it's a bit of a shame.
What a flop of a transfer that is becoming.
Unfortunately, yes, but this is Mönchengladbach's time to win the group and get an easy draw, and then you could just go all out in the league until February, even March, if you get a good draw in the Champions League.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, go on to win the Champions League. Absolutely. Completely agree.
No, I mean, if they go through to the knockout stages, this is Marco Rose imposing himself as the top manager in Europe, I'd say. And this will elevate him to a better club. We love Mönchengladbach, but this will elevate him into a top club.
I mean, the Dortmund manager, he was at Mönchengladbach, wasn't he? And that's what helped him develop.
Well, Favre, but Favre has his critics and also is a bit stubborn. But yeah, Rose is very well liked, and we don't talk enough about him in the football community or in the media. I think he's so underrated, and their budget is so small, their salary is so small, and if they get through in the group of death, you've got to give him a lot of credit.
And their beers are so tasty, as we know.
We know.
Anyway, my thanks to Seb and Joe. That was our Champions League preview for match day 5. Can PSG get to the knockout stages, or is it Europa League for Neymar and Mbappe? I never thought I'd say that. Anyway, my thanks to them too. And of course, subscribe to Let's Talk Sport for more of our videos.